Welcome to this Higby Labs product informational video.
Hello, I'm John Higby. In our previous video, we built this pan tilt roll camera head using 3 Hig Mover miniature smart rotary actuators and a set of lightweight elbows, all available from Higby Labs. In this video, we will be setting it up for control from this 3-axis analog joystick via this Hig-Hub bus master. We're going to cable it all up, and then we're going to configure it from our Windows desktop application. All right, so let's do the cabling here. Our 3-axis joystick has a DE9 plug on it. The Hig-Hub has 2 DE9 sockets, each of which can host up to 4 analog inputs. So I'll take this middle one, which is inputs 1 through 4, and we'll screw that in. Next we have the connection from the head. You can see coming out from the pan mover here and ending in this Ethernet style plug, which is not Ethernet, just an Ethernet style cable, which are ubiquitous and easy to come by, along with a variety of splitters and couplers. So we'll put this into either of the 2 mover jacks on the hub. Then we have the serial connection from the PC. This is a USB to serial adapter available from Higby Labs. Similar to the head, it has an Ethernet style plug. As you saw in one of our earlier videos, you can connect this directly to a Hig Mover without a hub, but today we're going to use the hub. We'll plug it into the host jack. And finally, we've got power from our 24-volt supply, DC supply, that plug going into here. All right, and that's the wiring. Now let's get our app going.
All right, so we've got our app open here, and you can see we've got our COM4 serial interface available, so we'll connect to that. And before we go and tune the head motors, I'm going to briefly go through setting up the joysticks for this. This is the Hub Joysticks tab. The first thing we want to do is click this Refresh Tab button, which loads up all the joystick parameters from the hub into the application. Before enabling the joysticks for the first time, you want to be sure to click these null buttons while the joysticks are at rest in their setter position. Then we want to look at the patching of the joysticks here, that is, which joystick controls which motor. So you can see we've got 3 movers and 3 joysticks, but the plug wiring does not actually put the right mover on the right joystick. So here you can see I've got joystick 1 patched to mover number 2, and I've got stick 2 patched to mover number 1, and stick 3 is on mover 3. A related feature is that if you have some extra pots, you can assign them as gains for your individual joysticks. For example, stick 5 can be assigned as joystick 1 gain, stick 6 could be assigned as joystick 2 gain. We're not going to be working with that today, we've just got our basic joystick. Now for each joystick, there is a sensitivity control, which is a gain. The higher this number, the more dramatic will be your response on the motors to motions on the joystick. Deadband helps compensate for the inevitable mechanical slop in a joystick. It's the amount of room on either side of the center stick position where there will be no motion. Below that we have the smoothing control, and this helps you take care of little jittery motions that you might have in your hand motion. Too much of this smoothing can give you lag, trailing lag, which may not be desirable. Now in this setup we found that the roll and the tilt had their joystick directions reversed from what we would have liked. So the invert checkbox takes care of that. You will also want to use the log feature if you have joysticks. This gives you nice subtle control at the slow end of the stick. And finally, you just enable each joystick here. And that's all the settings that we need for this demo. Once you've got everything the way you like it, we recommend coming up here to this hub to flash button, and this will save all those settings into memory so that they come back when you power up the Hig-Hub again next time. And with that done, let's go over to the Mover tab and tune the head. All the motors on the head are disabled. We can move them freely at this point. We're going to start tuning them one at a time, starting with pan, then roll, because we're nested pan, roll, tilt. There's the tilt for the last one we'll do. As you can see over here on the app, we are set up for mover number 1, which is the pan. We'll enable mover number 1, and let's start joysticking. And there's fairly unstable, so we'll crank up load until it starts to make some noise, and we back it off from there, and we're still shaking around, so let's bring up stiffness. Just keep cranking it until it stops doing that. Now let's see what we have. Okay, well, it's not unstable anymore, but it is a bit jerky. So I'm going to bring up smoothing. And that is a lot more smooth, but it's making a bit of noise, so I'm going to bring that back down. And it's not bad for a start. Let's load that in, save that to flash, and move on to number 2, which is our roll. And we're going to enable the roll, and we'll just run it and see what happens here. It is unstable, so let's bring up some load until it makes some noise, and back away from that. Let's bring up some stiffness. Okay, there's that. It is making a bit of noise, and it's shaky, so I'm going to back away from stiffness. That's better for noise. Now we'll bring up the smoothing to try to take out that shake. It is smoother, but we've introduced noise again, so we'll back away from that. No noise. Oh, there is some noise. And it is a bit shaky as well. So this head is proving a little bit difficult to tune, and the reason is that often when you have a complex mechanical system like this, especially with nested axes, any flexure in your mechanical components, such as the elbows, or in this case, our camera mount, which has a little bit of flexure right here where the camera mounts to the iris rods, these problems can pollute the servo feedback loop. And fortunately, our app offers a tool to help deal with this. The damping filter over here on the left can sometimes help with this issue. So I'm going to try boosting the damping control here to the low setting, and that has taken out the noise that I was getting. So now I'm going to try bringing back some of that nice smoothing that we had, and that has made it quite smooth. I think it could be just a little bit more smooth. So I'm going to try bringing in some stiffness. And that's actually pretty nice, thanks to bringing in that little bit of damping. So if you have a difficult system like this with something cantilevered out and kind of shaky like this, you can try that damping gadget. Now that's going into flash memory. Let's move on to the last one, which is the tilt.
All right, so we'll enable the tilt, and we'll see what we have. Again, we're a bit jerky. What happens if we bring up load? Not that high. Probably not that high. Back to 1. Okay, no noise, but we are jerky, so let's bring up some stiffness. Let's just go. Okay, I've gone a little too high. Still a bit noisy. Okay, so let's bring in some smoothing. Probably bring some noise back, yes. Okay, so that's not too bad. So that's pan, roll, tilt. Let's save those. Let's see. Okay, so you can see that we're getting a little bit of noise in the system from something. That was actually on the tilt where that was happening. And you want to exercise all 3 axes when you do this, because your loads change relative to one another. This is, you really want to exercise that. Let's see if we can fix that issue with the tilt. Bring some stuff down. I'm trading stiffness for smoothing. That noise seems to be coming from the pan, which we did leave a bit hot. So I'm going to bring up the damping on that pan, which did bring down the noise quite a bit just now. And how are we for smoothness on pan? It's a little bit stuttery, so I'm going to bring smoothing up, which we could do now that we've brought the damping in, and that's looking very nice and smooth. So this gives you a general idea of how to tune a multi-axis Hig Mover system. By the way, before we go, I'd like to point out that the heads are available not only in this pan tilt roll 3-axis version, but also a 2-axis pan tilt only version. I'm John Higby. Thanks for checking out the video. Check out more of our materials at www.higby.com.